Hi, it's Mr. Canada, and we're going to look at finding bearings today. So, when we're finding bearings, that means we're going to go from a diagram. So, we're going to have to measure using a protractor. In the end, we're going to state our bearing in form of, well, three-digit bearings, right? So, keep in mind we're always measuring from the north. We go clockwise, and then we state our answer is three-digit bearings. Okay. So, find the bearing of B from A. So, that means we're going from A to B. It's a really weird way of talking about bearings, right? So you always talk about be from something. You don't talk about going to it, you go talking about from. However, if you notice step one, the best thing to do is actually switch it around. So we're going A to B, right? So that means if we're measuring from north on our diagram, if we're measuring from north over to this angle B, okay? So I like just switching around and saying A to B anytime I get it and I can help visualize. So that means I want to draw my north line at A, as I already have, and then fill in any missing angles. Okay, so that 1B, the fill in missing angles, is going to come in handy when we're over 180 for our degrees. But until then, we can just set our protractor as such on the 0 line, line up our crosshair, and I made large crosshairs like axes just to make it easier on myself. And remember, the better you line it up, the more accurate you'll be. So for mine, I had it there a second ago. I'm going to say it's 140 degrees because I've already measured this earlier, and I know it's at 140 degrees. Okay, so I can state here that my bearing is 140 degrees. I like drawing it on the diagram as well. So, example 2. Find the bearing of B from A. So once again, we measure from A to B. All right, so measure from north and over to B. So here I'm putting it on the crosshair, measuring over using the outside scale, and I notice that it's going to be, I think, at 52 if I remember correctly. So 52 degrees. Moving on to the next one, I'm just going to drag my protractor down, and we're going same thing, A to B. So I'm going that way. So don't let the little angles trick you when they put them on the page. So until we get up to 180, just keep measuring it the exact same way. You don't have to do any tricks. So here, if we look, we're using our outside scale. So we're looking at 132. So keep in mind, use your ideas about angles to make sure these actually make sense. If you don't know if you're using the proper scale, you can always say, well, is this supposed to be obtuse? Yes, it is. And then this one, right? So we want A to B. So we want A all the way, right? So we want this reflex angle. Well, we know that we can just measure the other angle that we don't want, right? So that's what we'll do. We'll put it here, and we're going to measure up, and it's 46 degrees using our inside scale. So here it's 46 degrees. So we know 360 minus 46, and that gives us 314 degrees for the actual reflex, or for the bearing. 314, and I might just get rid of that 46 so the person doesn't think that, hey, this is what I'm actually answering. So on this page, here are 6 for you to try. I have given you what the bearings are for a little angle there. That way you can do them at home. And then see what you actually get as your angle. So some of you may not actually have to measure these. You can just do these by calculations. Okay, welcome back. So very first one, let's just start answering it. So that's 0.55. Next one, we're going to get an answer of 0.50 degrees. All right. following that, our answer will be 145. All right. Then we're going to have this one. And so we should get 125. Next, we're looking at 235 degrees. And lastly, we want all the way around, so we're going to look at 305 degrees. So,